guys, we're out here for hopefully a one-day project. It's annual New York State inspection time, and I own a DSM, so I guess you guys can probably figure out the problem there. So what we're gonna end up doing today is getting this thing ready to take it and get it inspected. There's a few things that I had to do with ECM Link. I'm sure you guys are well aware that you can go into the miscellaneous tab or the check engine light tab there and disable all the cells that pop up if you modify anything. We've pulled the EGR system off of this and put a block plate on. We cut out the front O2 sensor, put a wideband in. We put a catless custom 3-inch exhaust on this thing that we built in the backyard here. And New York State doesn't really like all that stuff, so unfortunately we have to fix our exhaust, and I figured, you know, might as well get a little creative with it. I ordered a catalytic converter from Amazon. I think it was like 75 bucks or something like that. Oh jeez, look. Here is the part number for any of you guys that are looking to grab one. It's actually really nice. I'll show you. It's right here. This is the unit that showed up. It's a single piece. It's got no hole for an oxygen sensor because the oxygen sensor is further down, right behind it. I don't know, I'm sure you can probably see straight through it, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it's too crazy restrictive. It was posted as a high flow unit, and it's EPA certified, so it'll work on our cars. So I'm going to take this thing, and essentially what we're going to do today is make a brand new 3-inch downpipe. Because right now we have a 3-inch exhaust system all the way up to the front where the downpipe is, and it's a stock downpipe, and it's not mandrel bent. It was bent the old school way. It's got all those little nubs and dents in it. So this is actually going to help with flow. And if you remember back when we did the 3-inch exhaust build, I ordered way too much of this pipe right here. I got, I think it came with 4 straight sections, 4 90-degree elbows, which are right here. It came with 4 45s and 4 U-shapes. And they're all flared to be received on one end and go in on another, so they're really nice pipe. And all the welds that I did, for being a new welder, they actually held pretty strong. The key is this is a painted pipe. Got to clean all the paint off, obviously. Clean metal's happy metal when you're welding. So I think what I'm going to do today is we're going to cut the flange off right up here at the turbo. We're going to take our O2 sensor, our wideband sensor, back out, take out the couple of bolts holding the downpipe on, and I'm just going to cut the pipe right there in front of the oxygen sensor, the rear oxygen sensor. And I have a couple extra bungs that I can weld in if need be, but I don't think I'll need to. I'll have to put in one for my wideband because this isn't going to have one, obviously. So we're going to drill a hole, we're going to put the wideband sensor in, and we're also going to essentially fab up a downpipe to catalytic converter and connect it with the rest of the system. And this will pass the visual inspection with New York State, and hopefully it will get rid of my incomplete catalyst check engine light that keeps coming on that I've disabled. I'm allowed to have 2 readiness monitors incomplete. So out of the, I think, 6 that are in there, we got to have 4 of them working. So far I fixed the rear O2 sensor, got that running. I've got the heater circuit for the front O2 figured out. I've got a little resistor box that I'm going to install on that. You can Google that. There's DIYs all over the place for how to build a little heater circuit. It cancels the check engine light, basically. It's a diode and some 50-watt resistors. 1 mega ohm, I believe, is the diode. So I don't know. Take a look online if you guys are interested in that. It's how to delete a front O2 sensor. We've also got ourselves a little 3-inch section of flex pipe, and this is going to go, I don't know, we'll say the U shape's going to go in the front. It's going to come straight back to this. Then out of this, there's going to be a little section that goes to the catalytic converter, and then it's going to join up with the rest of the system behind that. So I'm going to get this car up in the air, stop talking, and start doing, and we'll see where we land. So all right, we've got her way up in the air. Back's a little higher than the front, but that's all right. I've got 4 jack stands underneath it. I've also got the jack itself sitting on the cross member right here that goes underneath the front of the motor there. All right, first things first, we're gonna have to get up under here and we're gonna have to take our O2 sensor out, our wideband sensor out. We're gonna have to reach underneath where the wrap is off the O2 dump and take out the 2 bolts holding in the downpipe to the rest of the exhaust assembly there. Once that's done, we can go ahead and move on to cutting off the pipe in the middle here. Okay, boys, so after a little bit of battling, trying to get the last bolt here out, the hanger bracket, the bolt didn't come out, but this bolt over here did. That one broke. So I gotta retrieve that off the bracket against the motor there. But this is the downpipe. I just cut it off right here. As you can see, it went stock downpipe all the way back. I replaced this flex section and welded it onto a 2.5 to 3 inch inducer. Obviously we're gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna make my new pipe about 3 or 4 inches longer, and it's gonna have the female end to slide over the existing pipe that's already on there, and I'm gonna put a big clamp on it to hold it tight. That way I can take my downpipe off without removing the entire exhaust system, because the way I did it before was kind of on the fly and I was brand new to welding, so I just put it all together and welded it all together. Honestly, I was having some fun with it too. So here's what we got to copy. Essentially, I'm going to use this big piece of pipe right here to copy that curve. As you can see, if you line it up, it looks like it should work just fine. I'm gonna have it come out here, a little bit of a downward bend, and I'm gonna try to copy. I'm gonna cut this flange off and I'm gonna clean out the inside with my grinder, grind all the old metal out. Then I'm gonna take and weld it to this. It's gonna run down. I'll have probably a short section that runs to the flex pipe, and then I'm gonna have the flex pipe come off with another short section that goes to the catalytic converter. After that, I'm gonna attach a female end that will slide over the existing pipe. So if you look at it, you can kind of see that there's like a weird shape. It comes down and then it kind of like tweaks back a little bit, like there's a little hump there. So I'm gonna have to try to mimic that and like angle the pipe a little off center. All right, so after about 25-30 minutes of cleaning things off and cutting my flange out, I got the end all ground down. Nonetheless, we're gonna get this thing put on here, get the rest of the catalytic converter welded on, and see how it all works. So I'm gonna stick you guys off to the side and start doing some tack welds. And something that was really handy was this welder's scribe, because all the paint has to come off the material you're working with. This actually has a nice little tungsten carbide tip, and I can still see my little scratch marks that I made on the pipe, which is the orientation that the flange must be welded on. So I'm going to put a couple of quick tacks on this. I'm going to line it up, see what it looks like, and then we're going to start moving forward with welding up the rest of this thing. Boom! There we are. This is as far as I got yesterday. I got the existing downpipe out. We got it cut. I got this finish welded on, and as you can see, there's a huge difference in the diameter of this pipe on the outside versus the inside. So I tack welded it on my flex section. I still have to go through and finish that. Well, boys, it's been a few hours of grinding and welding and fitting and refitting, and this is essentially what I came up with. Let me get a shot for you here. I hogged this out as far as I could get it. It's about 2 3/4. It's about a 1/4 inch short all the way around. So there's a little tiny lip on the inside, but all my welds are not the prettiest, but they are sealed. This actually put a 2-inch extension here to drop the pipe a little bit lower after I'd already put this together last night. It just needed a little bit more to get around the transfer case. Coming down here, I welded it onto the flex section. Off of that, we have a 4-inch piece that comes out. I cut the ears, the little inlet and outlet on the catalytic converter off, and joined it with the flex pipe section here, and then put a flared 3-inch pipe off the backside here so it slides up and over like I wanted. Now we are 95% of the way there. I do have some ceramic coating that I'm going to be putting on this. I got a primer and a high temp paint, but first we have to find a space for our wideband, and I just threw everything in the car and test fit it, and it looks like the wideband is going to fit right about there, and that'll put it somewhat close to where it was initially. I gotta check the thread pitch on this. This is an extra bung that I had floating around from when I did the O2 sensor for the rear when we built the first 3-inch exhaust, but nonetheless, this is, I'd say, 99% a true 3-inch, minus this little bit of restriction there. The carbide burrs that I picked up from Harbor Freight just got chewed up immediately when I tried to do this, and I think the metal may be a little bit harder because it's been heat cycled so many times, but I might just order another flange, slice this one off, weld it in place, call it a day. But the big thing is we've got our catalytic converter hooked up, and hopefully we can get the catalyst incomplete check engine light to disappear now, and that'll be the last one that I need to worry about before I go get my inspection. So I'm gonna fit this up, make sure it slides into the wideband nice, the threads are correct. These little ears have to get ground down some because this is to fit like a 2 1/4 inch exhaust, I think, and this is a 3, so I don't know if I can unscrew this by hand. Oh, I can, look at that. All right, well, you guys can't look at that, but you get what I'm saying. This little plug comes right out, and as long as it's the same thread pitch, if you look, let's see if I can get you a shot. Yeah, it's kind of raised off the edge here. There, I'll just show you up top here. You can see there's a little gap right there. So I have to just grind down the edges of this, and hopefully that's gonna free this thing up. I'm gonna test it out, make sure everything fits perfectly first, and as long as everything fits, we're gonna keep moving along with this and hopefully be done in the next half an hour or so. I got about 4 or 5 hours into messing around with this so far, but my time on my days off is a hell of a lot cheaper than whatever the shop would want to cut my downpipe off, build me one, and then put a catalytic converter in, which is like $400 through those guys. So I'm gonna get after it, guys. I'll see you back here with another update, and hopefully we'll be finishing this thing up with paint here very, very soon. Boys, so after, I don't know, a good few hours of messing around, this is the final result right here. We've got everything put together. I threw some ceramic paint on top of this to make it nice and hopefully heat resistant or insulated to some degree. I know it's not the best looking paint job. Some of the welds aren't the prettiest either, but guess what? New York State's not going to care. They're just going to look and see that it's got this happy little box right here, and they're gonna just roll with it. So that's one more thing off the checklist to get this thing inspected. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on, fire it up, and let you guys hear the difference. There's actually a video when we built the 3-inch exhaust the first time, so if you want to go back and watch that idle clip and compare, you'll see what it sounds like with and what it sounds like without a catalytic converter. Honestly, I'm hoping that it quiets it down just a little bit because it's kind of loud, and I don't know, it probably pisses my neighbors off more than I know. But anyway, that's that. That little plug's coming out. We're gonna put our sensor in there. I'm gonna get this thing all bolted to the car, and I'll see you guys in a couple more minutes. Well, boys, we've got this thing knocked out. It's definitely quieter. It's all hooked up. I actually put a plug in the upper O2 dump hole, and I'm gonna put the stock O2 sensor right back in there for my inspection. And down below, you can see that. Down in the downpipe now is the wideband, and they say in the manual that they want it 18 inches away from the turbo. And close the hood. Oh. All right, so that part is done. That was a pain right in the butt, getting all that stuff put together and correctly welded, but honestly, it does sound a lot quieter. It's the first time it's been started in a few days. I had a few days off and wanted to get everything knocked out. There's no leaks over here on the side. Thank God. You can actually hear yourself think, which is nice. I'm gonna close the hatch over here, set you guys down by the back of the car, and give you a quick example of what it sounds like with a catalytic converter against what it used to sound like. So give me a second, I'll be right back and take a listen. When I installed my wideband, I used heat shrink and soldered all the connections together. Afterwards, I took out that kick panel and I hooked up the clutch cut wire. Later on in that same day, I put butt connectors on for the O2 sensor, and now I can unplug the wideband and plug in a narrowband sensor if I want to, and it'll run right off the stock harness. Then when I'm done inspecting, I can unplug it, go back to NB02 simulation. So that's kind of nice. So I'm going to take and fire this thing up real fast, let you guys hear what it sounds like now that it's got a different muffler on, or different downpipe on it. So let's give it a whirl. And yes, I know my muffler is a little twisted, but that's coming off and we're putting a Borla on soon. So let me start this up and I'll show you what it sounds like. So that is that. It's a little quieter, definitely. I know if you guys have watched any of the other videos where I fired this thing up, you can definitely hear that it's louder than hell. But now it's nice and quiet. The downpipe's all bolted on. Everything is functioning as it should. And New York State will get off my back and let me get an inspection finally. So if you guys have enjoyed watching this interesting little video making a downpipe, make sure you go down there and give it the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, share it with a buddy if he's got a DSM and he's starting to mod it. It all helps us reach out to new folks that could use some of this information. So thanks again for you guys watching this whole thing, and we'll see you again very soon with an update to ECM tuning. I know there's been a couple of requests on that, and I'm going to go through and show you everything that I figured out working with ECM Link for the first time, and yeah, hopefully it helps some of you guys out. But stay tuned. We'll definitely show you how to do the launch control, the RPM limiter, and all that fun. So until next time, folks, we'll see you later.